Hey, what's up? Call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. It's the greatest couch-based talk show in space in all the land, except not the land because we're in space. So, oh man, Killer Witch is in the chat room. All right, along with superstar Missing in Stars Dan Gunther and Beta Viruses Scott. No sound. Oh no. Um, let's do this. Oh, oh goodness gracious, we have no sound. We'll go that. And speakers. Uh, oh no. How's that? Am I going out to the world? Oh, you have sound. Okay. All right. Everybody's got sound? We got sound? All right. Oh, Daniel Roth is here. Wonderful. Oh, everything's great. Everything's perfect and wonderful. Um, it's just we had those SpaceX kids flying up here the other day, and opening portals everywhere, and you know, uh, Windows updates that change all your settings around, and then sometimes you don't have sound at the beginning of the show, and that's okay. Uh, you know why it's okay? I think you do. I do. Everything is okay with today's sponsor. I mean, you thought last week's sponsor was amazing. This week's sponsor is it's next level. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I can't even believe that the show is now sponsored by Tiger Squawk Records. Check it out. We have the new Sex Death Religion. He's back. Distant Images. It's really good. 15 years best of Siren. Virtual Terrorist, Neural ACP. Their new album comes out tomorrow, but that's also great. Industrial's Corrupted Memories, the best. Stop the Goths from my buddy Science Fiction. Bitman, Standing in a City, new single. It's unbelievable. Gasoline and Vertebrate, I heard they're okay. Next, we've got the Gothsicles. Just don't even bother with these guys. I can't get past his voice. Double feature one featuring the Gothsicles and the Boundless. Bitman's back with another single called Busting Atoms. And definitely check out the new Virtual Terrorist album that comes out tomorrow. Thank you for liking my new fish tattoos. England's own Daniel Roth is here. We also have somebody else here from distant lands, and by lands I mean under the land in some sort of hellish 13th level of Dante's Inferno, or not. We'll figure it out. We're going to answer all the questions here today because our guest today has been a big help to me personally, and kind of all things Gothicalverse. And so we are going to talk to indie TV show darling Aaron. I fucked it up. Aaron, damn it. Aaron. Okay, we can see you now. What's up, buddy? Aaron of the Grim Life of Hack and Slash. How's it going, dude? Oh, motherfucker. I lost you. Hold on. We'll get you back. Uh, gotcha. Give me some volume. And are you there?
Still can't see you.
Hey, I got you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. And I can hear you, and we can hear each other in the audience. Okay, all right. We're not going to spin into a moon rock or something like that. Take two. Aaron of the Grim Life and Hack about. I got excited. Take three. Aaron of the Grim Life of Hack in Slash. What is up, dude?
What's up, man?
Oh, just flying through space. Data bomb in the house. we are just on a careening path through the void, but you have also brought forth from the darkest depths a show you've been working on for a while. Give us the superhero origin story, as we like to say in the show, of uh, your uh, your project, The Grim Life of Hack and Slash.
All right, cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. So the show started in the better part of 2011. I was in the Navy at the time, and I was stationed out in Hawaii. And yeah, I just started looking at a Halloween mask that I had had for eternity, and started surfing through YouTube, and wasn't really finding what I wanted. I wanted to see something cool that was horror comedy. I didn't want to see something that was just situational. Um, and the closest I even saw was like Grim Reaper goes to the grocery store. I was like, wow, that's
It's
super
edgy.
wacky.
Yeah.
And I digress. It just got to a point where I was like, there's nothing very original that attests to what a show could be if you hit it from a Grim Reaper's point of view,
Okay.
talking about things in the underworld and their day-to-day life and trying to take souls and not piss off the boss, but a lot of stuff that happens in between. And I was just like kind of hanging out one day or daydreaming or something, and instantly it jumped in my head. I'm looking at the mask, and I'm like, he kind of looks like Hack, you
hmm
know. If he were a Reaper, self-appointed name, he'd definitely be Hack.
Okay.
And then I started spitballing and coming up with it, and finally I was, after shopping it around a bit, arrived at the Grim Life of Hack and Slash.
There you go. So it's got a little bit of The Office. It's got a little bit of like a horror comedy bent to it, right? Like it's
Oh yeah.
okay. So it's you. It's not just like a gore thing. It's you sort of writing a very unique style of comedy. Like what? How would you describe the writing on the Grim Life of Hack and Slash?
Grim kind of stems from part of it's situational comedy, but it really goes deep. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so what's the base root problem? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be, okay, so they're reapers and they have to take souls, but why do they have to take souls?
Okay.
Well, because they have a reaper inspector, they have an adjudicator, they have a guy that's the equivalent of the tax man,
Okay. Right.
uh, who is always busting ass, who is always telling them they're not good enough. And you start to realize that there's bureaucracy even in the underworld.
Okay. Very cool.
So something that's a basic idea of just having to get the soul count has a big ripple effect because it's performance reviews,
Mm.
it's taking your claim, it's like they literally have the choice to become a reaper or to become nothing.
Okay.
So to an effect, they're kind of trying to prove their merit and prove their
Mm.
worth and not get wiped out of existence.
so, so
But
you've
then they also have very petty infighting because there's a
okay.
pecking order and there's a Hall of Fame. So part of it extends beyond daily duties. It goes for glory and fame. So
You've had to construct this whole sort of, if I can use the word mythos around the what an occupational hazard for a personification of death might be. That's pretty
yeah,
cool, man. And Daniel Roth is setting me up for my next question very nicely. He runs a radio show in England, and I was just on there. And what did we play? But Hardcore Pong's own "It's a Grim Life."
yeah.
The So your show has a lot of tie-ins to industrial music. And you're wearing a gasoline shirt now. Angel Spit is obviously a mutual friend of ours. You've helped the Gothicals out in the past. Where are these inroads to our brand of insane industrial or industrial at large coming?
Believe it or not, I had kind of stumbled upon Angel Spit when I was in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for like a lot of agrotech type groups
Mm-hmm.
and was kind of falling short. And then I started seeing some of the songs that they were cranking out, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like Devilicious and 100%. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like seeing the aesthetic and just the raw energy, I was like, that's cool. It's like they've
Mm.
built their own little world behind everything that they're doing.
No, yeah, that was definitely my uh, initial experience with Angel Spit. Like industrial, yes, but also not because I don't know what this is. Like it's just so its own planet, and yeah, and then uh, you know, Carl and I started working together in what was we called hardcore pong, and that was if correct me if I'm wrong, my sort of introduction to you and the Grim Life show. Yeah.
Oh, very much so. So,
Okay.
yeah, and through supporting and everything, we got
Hmm.
to a point where I was lucky enough to be in between duty stations in the Navy, and I
Hmm.
was tearing ass across the U.S. And I decided, let's go visit Chicago and see if we can make something work. And
Yeah.
you and Carl incredibly flexible and decided, like, hey man, like let's do a thing, let's do all the things.
Let's do all the
Um,
things.
yeah, tell me about the show. And then after that, you guys thoroughly surprised me because it was just this perfect blend of chaos and mythology. It was one of those things where you could appreciate it if you're walking in cold, but if you know a little bit about the show, you'd be like, got it.
All
I,
right.
I get it now. They're hitting this on multiple levels.
Well, now that we all, the Space Couch audience, know a little bit about the show, let's cut to a little clip. This will be more or less the whole bit. This is called. Oh my God. Okay, you guys have to let me know if you can't hear this because like now that I'm finding out that we're having sound problems live, which is part of the Space Couch experience, it's fine. Just let me know if you can't hear our wonderful audio here.
All right, Hack, focus. The word has to be spread. There is a pandemaniac going on out there, and the reapers and ghouls of the underworld need to be updated. And there's a blinking light. As many of you know, it's a difficult time for reapers as people are practicing social networking. No. Self-deprecation. No. Self-decapitation. No, wait. How would that work? Do you like set up a winch system, or do you like gorilla glue the machete to the ceiling fan? Look, people are practicing social disparaging, and thus we must re-examine how we do business. The humans are fearful of the Cerberus 18 or something like that, and therefore we must adapt and overcome. If they will not come out of their homes, then we're just gonna have to go to them. Souls must be taken and quotas must be met. And while some ghouls are deemed essential evil, others won't even bother to venture out and risk going to the surface world. But if you find yourself at a loss and they absolutely will not answer the door, then just pose as your neighborhood friendly delivery ghoul. Special thank you goes to Patrick Brake, Trish Capers.
We're just gonna bounce back because like credits. Oh, Diana's here. Just did uh, some wonderful things on the virtual temple. So we just had the Cerberus 18 PSA. Good stuff. Where do we find more?
You could take Easy Street. You can go to Grim Reaper 4, like the number 4. So Grim Reaper 4hire.com.
Hmm.
And I update that on a regular basis. But and if you cruise down the main scroll, it's everything. It's Facebook, Twitter,
Okay.
SoundCloud. And for everybody that likes Halloween music, but doesn't want to do the cheesy, this is Jaws and this is
Right,
Halloween.
right.
you can load up SoundCloud, and we have a thing called the Grim-tacular, which is all of our themes looped together for a badass soundscape that you could play during Halloween.
Look at that! Oh man, you are uh, smoothly setting me up for questions here because I want to get into music. I do want to circle around to those URLs one more time. So that's Grim Reaper, the number 4 hire on YouTube, Facebook, pick your thing. It's all you do. You're watching this show. I know you know how to use the internet, audience. All right, perfect. Um, Music, yes, you do a lot of music for this show. It's all pretty great. How are you finding that music writing process?
It's really it's crazy because I think a lot of people get in mind. They're like, I have a theme, I want to build a song around it, and I want it to work, right?
Hmm.
Lyrically, composition, etc. Um, I just start doing stuff. Like when I feel inspired, I'll think of things like when I'm digging into the lore because the
Hmm.
show's anchored in Grecian lore, but then
Oh,
it branches out to other elements. But I started thinking about, if you were to meet the ferryman at the docks,
hmm.
what would that feel like? What would that sound like?
Wow. Okay.
Or
Getting deep.
If you were in the Stygian Marsh, what is that,
Hmm.
involved?
Very
And
cool.
and ironically, quite a few of them aren't named until they're done.
Hmm.
So I'll go for a really like a feeling of dread or a feeling of something that's unescapable,
Hmm.
and then toward the end I could be like, oh, that's the abyss,
Yeah.
or that, the different themes or different songs.
No, I do the same thing. Like I had a folder just on my hard drive that I was working on this song called "Tough Guy Shit." Like I was just trying to be like a real hard ass, and that
Yeah.
ended up being straight up Otter Time. Like you kind of can't tell where the track is gonna go. So I totally feel you on naming it afterwards. And then you have this like, okay, this is River Styx or The Abyss, and
Yeah.
totally works. You can get all that on SoundCloud, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And that one should be Hack the Reaper.
Hack the Reaper.
Yeah.
So like audience, like people are, I mean, to say nothing of the weird connotations Thriller now has. Play every day as Halloween once or twice, but oh man, you can only stand so many like just the same old stuff. You gotta get the new Hack the Reaper supercut for Halloween. Check that out.
No
Um,
doubt.
so been going since 2011. That's a pretty long run, man. Like where are you feeling the show is now as opposed to where you started, and do you feel it like moving in a different direction, like seasonally or emotionally, or like does the comedy arc change or anything like that?
It's I'll give you the brief snapshot. So when I was doing the show, I was in the Navy. I was active duty.
Hmm.
Went to Middle East, went everywhere from
No
Japan,
shit.
Afghanistan, Somalia, just kind of went all around the world. But it was
Damn.
good because I got to meet people that were
Uh-huh.
like-minded. And I met somebody who was an absolute ace. His name's Patrick Brake, and he is like he's the God, what do I want to call him? He's like the improv master that counterbalances a
Mm.
lot of characters that I play. So I'm Hack, he's Slash,
Okay.
or I'm Strife the Horseman, and he's Death the Horseman. But that's beside the point. I'm just making a point that
Hmm.
the original show Origins, I was tied to people at a different place and time, and if I was able to film in Italy or able to film in Japan, then we did.
Wow.
Um, and I think it was strong, but it was one of those things we had to improve some quality. We had to improve the visuals, like the backgrounds,
Hmm.
and just filmed what we could with what we had and with who we had.
Hmm.
But I think now the show's got a way more solid footing in
Mm.
that I have a literal binder that is just packed to the brim full of
Oh,
ideas. And
awesome.
so I started writing kind of like spiderweb style. It's like this is lore that's tied to the Greek underworld slash the Stygian marsh.
Mm.
What character dwells in the marsh?
Mm.
And then eventually that stemmed into, okay, there's all these different characters within the Reaper's Academy of Hades or within these
Hmm.
different areas that eventually will thread together. That's where a lot of characters derive from. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like that which hinders your task becomes your task in a
Mm.
lot of acting classes.
I
So
love
that
that.
tied into the Reaper's got to do A and B,
Uh-huh.
but somewhere in the middle, somebody's jacking with them, for either personal gain or for their own fame.
Mm.
So to answer your question, I think visually quality as well as me starting to master like music levels,
Mm-hmm.
sonically, I think the show is improved by leaps and
Yeah.
bounds. So yeah,
It's
definitely looking forward to a lot of the future. Then to on the tail end of that, I'm starting to find a way to find a unique perspective on. I don't want what do the Reapers think of
mm-hmm.
such and such virus, or what do the Reapers think of
Mm-hmm.
people doing X in this city. I want to take it from a more original standpoint.
Mm.
So it could be a one-off name, but it could be, Hack completely screwing up the premise of C19 and calling it
Mm.
Cerberus 18.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
it's you don't want to do like a just straight Jay Leno monologue or something. You got to make it your own
yeah. Have you
thing.
seen? Have you heard about this? Yeah. Uh, so that leads into an inkling of something that's yet to be filmed, that's coming up soon, and it's going to be riffing on people tearing statues down, and it's
Interesting.
not and it's not
Hot
taking a
take.
stand. Yeah, it's not like oh, I believe in the North or the South
Right.
or this color or creed. The original spin on it is Hack being like a nihilist.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like, well, if you're gonna tear that down, tear everything down. Tear down like
I love
Stonehenge doesn't make sense. Or the Leaning Tower of Pizza. That thing's been up for a couple thousand years. Just yank it down.
I love seeing you do the voice without the mask. It trips me out.
But eventually he steps on toes because the other Reapers are like, hey, asshole. Like, I
right.
live there. Or
Right.
I like that. Don't tear that down.
We will wait. Well, oh man, a hot take. I will be looking for that. Well, it leads me usually into this next thing, which is when you develop a new character, because you've got a cadre at this point.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
how much, like you can, like we kind of just went over like the situation, like okay, who do they meet in the marsh, right, or whatever, like
Mhm.
who's the boss, right? How much do you develop on that notebook and that binder, and how much is like an sort of an on-camera organic development?
So I've been very lucky and very
Mm,
fortunate to have quite a few people that were perfectly okay with improvisation. But first, when the character building, it's how do they look? Why do they look like that?
mm.
Prime example, our main man Hack.
Hey, we got props. All right.
So Hack, he's got metal plates and stuff,
Mm,
and people are just like, okay, well that doesn't make a lot of sense because like he's a Grim Reaper, he's spectral.
right.
But in the underworld, they're kind of left with that final form,
Mm,
and shy of somebody repairing that, if it gets trashed and damaged and
right.
eviscerated, you don't get it back.
You're okay. Okay.
So on the job, Hack has cracked his skull, hence the
Okay.
plate. He's had his jaw blown off, hence the
Okay.
metal jaw. And getting away from the point, but it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, look, all right, the character looks like this because they have been through
Hmm.
it. They were
Right.
either punished by Lord Hades or attacked by Queen Persephone, or they crossed the lines of somebody you weren't supposed to cross, like a
Mm,
sorcerer, and they started blowing them apart. Like Hack's got his metal plate. Slash has a gas mask.
mm.
So giving people kind of the crash course version of that character, and doing brainstorming, people are like, oh, you know what? I think the reason they ended up like that was because of this, this, and this.
Very cool.
So they started playing off one another,
Mm,
to where we really got a feel for how Hack and Slash operate.
mm.
Then quite a bit of it on camera just turns out to be improv.
Very cool. Very cool. And yeah, man, I'm not the best improver in the world. Like I've been doing Space Couch for 60 some episodes now, so I'm a little bit better. But it's definitely a skill that I can see coming in handy for you. And you can write out so much backstory, and then when you actually step into that persona, you have now got to bring this to life.
Oh yeah,
uh, and sometimes you just got to make stuff up.
no doubt.
Speaking of making stuff, you have had some pretty wild merch for Grim Life, like for a while, if you got like a Gosticle CD live, you included some stellar wax coins, and I know you've made wax coins for the show, and some other. Like, I'm curious as to like where that particular idea came from, and like what we might see in the future.
So yeah, I am a fan of all things tangible.
Hmm.
Especially what I dig on with Angel Spit and Gothsicles and Hardcore Pong and any of those projects that are
Hmm.
like that. They appreciate people and they still know that, like, it's not just here's everything digital. Here's something that you could hold. Here's something that you could wear. Here's
Yeah.
something that you can actually enjoy. So that ironically came up with the great Patrick Brake, aka Slash. So he's a
Oh, Slash Mask! Woo!
dude. Well, amongst characters, he plays like five really
Oh,
awesome
really?
characters. But once upon a time, I was sending out Grim merch and everything, and thanking everybody that was supporting the show. So I sent him a letter from the Reapers Academy of
Okay.
Hades, and then sealing the letter off was a wax seal stamp. And
Hmm.
he's like, "Hey man, I really appreciate everything, but like, I don't want to break this open. I don't want to ruin the
Hmm.
seal. It'd be
Oh,
great if there
nice.
was something that was more permanent." So all of a sudden, the light bulb went off, and I was just like, "Dude, let me get some freaking
Nice.
coin cases and then burn some wax
Oh,
and then
hey, very cool.
making some coins out of them." And then we had Grim coins. Then that turned into let's do Grim wristies and stickers and let's do caskets.
Woo! He's got
So
merch caskets, ladies and gentlemen.
and started doing candles recently, like skull
Oh,
candles
nice.
and werewolves and just a bunch of really awesome stuff. So yeah,
Is that
it's
all
ramping
on
up,
like
man.
Bandcamp, or where do we get the candles and all that?
I'm ramping up right
Okay.
now. Right now, I'm trying to give a facelift to our Etsy page.
Mm,
So, and then I'm going to put a plug on that on Grim Reaper for Hire, and on our Facebook.
cool.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to bringing more of those up because it's really really cool, and there's not a lot out there.
No.
And my short story on that was I was at a creepy. Oh, then all of a sudden there was a
Time out.
lady there that had.
We lost you there for a second. Could you say that sentence
Oh,
over?
yeah, yeah. So I was at a creepy.
We just fucking. That's fine. Fine, just get.
What's up?
No, we lost it again at the same. It does. You're at a creepy something,
Oh,
and Skype doesn't want to let you complete that sentence.
oh, maybe if I say it faster. Here's a creepy con.
You did it! You did it! We did it!
Yeah. All right. So I was at a creepy convention, and there was a lady there that was just plain selling candles,
Uh,
like no spooky labels,
uh,
no scents that were like, this is bat's blood or whatever. It was
right.
just plain Jane candles, and she had a little bit of an attitude problem. And I came home and I was venting to somebody, and I was just like, "There's just this lady there selling stupid candles, like just regular candles at a creepy con."
Right.
And then the light bulb went in my head, and it was like, "Well, hey, stupid, why don't you just make Grim candles?"
Good stuff. I love it. I love it. You definitely have a let's actually do this attitude. That is something we definitely celebrate here on Space Couch, having a motor, as we like to say. Daniel in the chat room says, "Sounds like you should write a comic," which is interesting because we hung out at C2E2 that one time.
Mhm.
But have you ever entertained notions of comic bookery?
I have thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
just because, man, the story it just sprawls and sprawls.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many layers to it. On top of the Grim Reapers and Ghouls, I mean, we got like the Four Horsemen.
Mm.
There's a newer character named Yig Tara that's tied to the Great Old Ones and the Cthulhu and
Yeah.
yeah, and all that mythos. It definitely lends itself to a comic book. I, unfortunately, for as sharp as my hand is, I cannot draw a character to save my life.
Yeah, you and me both,
I can
buddy.
draw creepy stuff. I could sketch scratch. I could do sharp logos,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not gifted in the cartoonery department.
So, all right. Well, we have a written by credit, and then if there's any artists watching that want to take on a wonderful project, maybe drop a line. Matt, my buddy in Providence says my ears prick up. Cthulhu, yes, as do mine. I'm wearing a Squid Lady shirt. Let's do a favorite question here on Space Couch. Um, so, four of your musical influences uh, have gotten together and decided to rob a bank. I need to know who who the high tech like camera like hacker guy is. So
Okay.
high tech guy, the getaway car driver, the smooth
Yep.
operator like face man, talk to the bank teller kind of guy,
Yep.
and the old school like with the stethoscope safe cracker.
Whew, man, that's heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Okay. So I'm gonna say right out the gate, man, the high tech guy. Um, it's gonna be way out of left field, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna go with the front man for Enter Shikari.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, they're like a industrial electro
Uh huh.
group from the UK. So I definitely see them being high tech. If
Very
you've
strong.
seen their shows and the laser lights.
Okay, all right,
Uh,
great. So he's got we got those cameras like hacked to like the nth degree, like full control over all the bank cameras.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. And then the getaway car driver is Edsel Doe, the front man of, well, Dope.
Okay, all right.
Good. I see him as having grit, you know.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. The smooth operator slash face man is Zoog.
Okay.
Hands down.
Oh, that is good because I had him as the old school safecracker because he likes all the old gear, but no, that's your answer is much better. Carl is 100% the yes. I want to take out $1,000. Like just
Yep.
like
Yeah. And he just gives you the smile, just
yeah, yeah, yes,
on the
yeah,
couch.
you do the smile, yeah. Ah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Oh yeah. And I see you being the safe cracker,
Oh, I'm
man.
cracking safes.
Like you
Awesome,
can do it.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, no, I'll sandpaper my fingers. I'll get the big like novelty Halloween store stethoscope. Oh man,
Yeah, like
we are going to like meticulously. Uh,
you got
uh,
Sonic style of cracking safes.
yes,
Uh,
yeah, we'll do that, and then just like yell hardcore pong as loud as possible when we
Hell yeah.
complete
Everybody's like,
that.
hardcore what? What?
Yes. And then yeah, we'll just like we can tie up like bags of money in the dope guy's like dreads and just carry more out that way.
Exactly.
This is gonna work perfectly. Okay, that was very very strong. Um, Comic book perhaps forthcoming. But let's design uh, one of possibly many Grim Life video games. Like, do you think is this like do you have like an open world thing where you harvest souls to level up, or uh, is that a sex thing? Possibly, says Daniel. Do you have to like dodge your boss at the office? Like, how do you see the Grim Life video game going?
It is incredibly ironic because I've been tinkering with some sound projects and I have something that sounds like a Super NES version of a Grim
Ooh.
Life theme.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It is very like kind of Scooby Doo wonky,
Okay.
like sneaky. But I know I totally see it. So it's like in short order, like Hack's origins are once upon a time he was a king
Okay.
and he was killed in battle, arrow to the chest, and then he wakes up on a castle floor and a crow delivers a scroll to him. So I totally see
Mm.
that in video games.
Oh yeah.
How did he arrive here? What now? And he has to sign the scroll, but he doesn't have a quill. So he
Mm.
dips his finger in the blood from his chest wound and signs off on the scroll.
All right.
and then becomes the Reaper. Then boom, he's into the Reaper's Academy of Hades.
Okay, very strong
I
opener.
totally see that. I totally see it as a video game to where it's kind of like you can level up as you go, but then
Mm-hmm.
there's also pitfalls when you're trying to go out on outings.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a segment,
Oh,
so that could absolutely play into the game
time, time,
atmosphere to
time,
where
time.
there's
Repeat that last bit. We lost you a little bit.
sure. We have a segment called the Reaper Sports Network
Okay.
where
Oh yeah.
yeah, so they do real time coverage of takedowns. So that
Mm-hmm.
absolutely could be like, did he get the high score?
Okay, so a
Let's
takedown
go to
in
the
the
board.
story of your show, like, is that like when one character like messes with another, like in the middle of an execution or something like that?
Oh yeah, so they'll get live coverage, and then they'll be like, Hack is in hot pursuit, and he rounds the corner, but oh, there comes
Oh, okay.
Slash out of the tree.
Interesting. All right. It's so there's a competitive element, which would play into a
Oh
video
yeah,
game nicely. Okay, great.
definitely.
Uh, yeah, you have. I mean, there's how many characters are you up to now? Would you say?
Currently, fully fleshed out characters, there's probably about 10 that are
Hmm.
solid that I'm
Okay.
very happy with. But grand scheme, there's at least 16 to 18.
16. Oh, so you have like extended unlockable characters for days, and like I
Yeah.
forget the name of the voodoo guy, but like alternate costumes and stuff like that
Yeah.
for whoever. Like
So
yes, love
could be like
it.
Marvel versus Capcom, where all of a sudden, you tag in
Oh yeah.
Slash, or Slash brings in Death from the Four Horsemen,
So I can Carl jumps in and throws an entire modular synthesizer at the
Right?
guy.
I could see y'all's hardcore Pong poster where he's like full battle mech
Oh shit! I
animal
forgot about
blade.
that. Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
come in as a giant tentacle
there's
head.
like a Cyber Octo Squid Brian stomping in on tentacles.
Yes! Yes! Okay, now I really want this to happen. So many facets to the Grim Life game. Let's jump back into the show for a second, because like uh, you were a pretty early adopter of a world where you have your own show. I mean, I'm sort of picking up to it like 5 seconds before COVID-19, and now it's kind of like the norm. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's like DJ live streams, and here I'm gonna reboxing videos of my whatever. Like it's pretty common. Like so. For sort of an OG, what would you advice would you give to someone who's like just starting like a YouTube show, like either technically or behind the scenes?
Oh yeah. The number one thing I'd encourage, and this isn't to like shine a negative light, but it's kind of
Mm,
like you got to seek out all the options that you can.
mm,
It's like don't just try to pocket. I'm just going straight for YouTube. I mean, use that as an anchoring point, but
mm,
also use other media to help embolden and bolster your show.
mm.
I would also say like don't go for low hanging fruit.
What do you mean?
If you got an idea that you really want to get at,
Mm-hmm.
do it. Like people, in my experience, they're pretty forgiving about okay, well the camera quality is a little
Mm-hmm.
or the sound can be improved upon. But if
Mm-hmm.
the base idea is there and the humor is there,
Mm-hmm.
or if you stay on point and stay on topic, and you're not just doing flavor of the week stuff, I
Hmm.
think that could be a good metric for success because you're not trying to compete or emulate. You're just trying to do your own thing. You
Mm.
know, you know.
What would you, if you had a time
So,
machine? I'm
thing.
sorry, I know. Keep going. I didn't want to talk over you.
Yeah.
Like if you could go back in time to like episode one as 2020 Aaron, like would you have
Mhm.
advice for like I don't know whatever white balancing or what advice would you give 2011 Aaron for like marketing or something like that, or just generally what would you say to yourself?
I would absolutely give our set a facelift because it was a little harsh on the eyes. I
Mm-hmm.
would upgrade our mic quality
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure can hear us better because we made improvements as we go. But I would also say for anybody that's trying to get something off the ground,
Hmm.
research a lot of film things. I mean,
Okay.
you have a wealth of knowledge. You got
Right.
a ridiculous cache of advice out there. So even something standard that seems like everyday knowledge, if you're not a cinematographer or if you haven't gone to film school, look up things like the 25 shots. And
Mm.
those are cinematic shots that you see in movies, like stuff from a ground view, stuff from the bird's eye,
Mm.
following a character, shooting over their shoulder,
Mm.
things to try to keep it visually interesting. And I would absolutely bring that to 2011 Aaron
Hmm.
Bilbrey and be like, dude, you got to flip the camera around because you got a potato on a tripod and it's just facing one way,
Okay.
you know?
Very cool. Very
So,
cool. I dig that. And so, what is next for the mighty Aaron Bilbrey?
my hope is that, we start broadcasting the show more and more, start reaching a wider audience.
Hmm.
Because I think we have a lot of content. I think people would find it interesting to say the least. Uh, I think people need to start shaking off the idea that short form is best. They just want like
Mm.
whack-a-mole humor that's like, 10, 20 seconds a
Hmm.
pop. I think there's an appreciation for long form,
Hmm.
whether it be music or comedies or short films or series.
Mm.
A lot of series are becoming the new movies. And if I were to
Totally.
have any hope, it'd be that, they start grappling onto, oh man, this Grimm thing has a lot of layers to it,
Hmm.
and you want to learn more. And then there's a lot of things that the show counterbalances to where if it's of your interest, you'll learn you'll learn more as you're watching it. That does
Mm.
sound cheesy, like the more you know, and there's a
Right, but no, I
star,
mean,
but you'll
I
find
love
a
that.
newfound appreciation for it. You know?
No, I don't. Because we lost what I feel like was a great point that Skype cut out. So I need the last half of that
Oh,
sentence.
yeah. So a lot of the show dwells on mythos, and if you
Uh,
start researching that mythos, you'll get a better appreciation
oh,
for it.
okay.
Like something that's yet to be realized is the absolute horror that is Elizabeth Bathory,
Oh, wow.
the blood. If you don't know about her, look her up. But
Uh,
Elizabeth Bathory was living, breathing true in the 1600s and would just murder people and bathe in their blood.
wow.
There's no humor to be had in that, but
Right.
when you find out that Elizabeth Bathory is Hack's ex-girlfriend,
Oh.
and she shows up when he least expects it, just like everyone's ex ever.
Right.
All of a sudden, he's just like, "Nope, not having it yet, not today."
Very cool. Very
So,
cool.
so there's quite a bit by extension that if you watch the show, you'd be
Mm.
like, "Oh, cool," you'll find something new. Or
Mm.
if you knew about that mythos or that person or that time or that
Mm.
place, you could start stringing it together and find a newfound appreciation in it.
Reading Rainbow up in here. It's educational. I mean, Grim Reaper in the sky. I can
Right?
rack up a body count twice as high. You can have that. But no, we're all about long form here on Space Couch. I mean, like I get to yak with uh, friends and heroes for roughly an hour when the sound works. But no, we figured it out. It was we did some blood magic and summoned up some infernal necromancy from the pit and got all the audio out. The Do you have a release schedule for the show that we should know, or is it catch as catch can right now?
It's just kind of just trying to adapt as we
Hmm.
go with all that Cerberus 18 stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, just trying to do what we can,
Mm.
and like I said, the show is it's literally worldwide because
Yeah.
everybody who's involved in it is either stationed overseas or in
Mm.
another state. I wish I had a solid answer, but I will say the newer episode of the hot takes on statues and
Hot
structures, all that.
takes.
Uh, that's coming up very soon, like within better part of a week. Oh, and also there's going to be another installment dropping soon of starting to make them more available. We have a necromancer character named Bet Noir,
Yes.
and his voice is kith and kin to Jigsaw.
Okay.
So he is your audio narrator for another project within Grimm called Wicked Stories from the Deadlands.
Okay.
And in that, he starts expounding upon different parts, like the Alconian Lake or the Ferrymen, or he eventually starts helping you traverse into through spoken word and poetry. It's
Oh,
more of an immersive audio listening
interesting.
or delve into the underworld.
So
So
you're
that's coming
really
out
doing
real.
some. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm just excited. Like, you're doing some real world building for like based off of a Halloween mask. That's pretty in depth, dude. I dig it. Um, so we'll check that out. And is the Stories from the Deadlands thing? I know that's not the complete name, but is that still at Grim Reaper for Hire on YouTube at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So grimreaperforhire.com will bring you there. Or you could bring up like just the Grim Life of Hack and Slash on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. A lot to jam in there, but it's worth it. I promise.
Heyo. The I will plug both of us simultaneously. You will want to check out. Uh, Forgive me if I miss one, but you want to check out the grim themed industrial tracks, hardcore pongs. It's a grim life. Also appearing on 15 Seconds of Flame, and the Gothicals track. Out there in the dark, or excuse me, out here in the dark. One of those. That's very cool. Very cool songs, birthed from some source material. I mean, it's comedy songs about Grim Reapers. That was a fun one to write. Although you did the lyrics on that one, so it was totally easy. So thank you for that. The Are you, with all the sort of atmospheric grim themes and stuff? Do you ever have an inkling to get into like band world and actually do like dance stuff or like any sort of I don't want to say structured because that obviously the other stuff has structure, but more sort of traditional like songy song stuff.
I am. I got the gift of being able to make some creepy stuff that's
Mm,
tailored more toward our show intros and the
very cool.
Halloween style soundscapes or like the
Hmm.
Grimtacular. But I am cursed by long form, so I'm doing my
Ah,
best to
that.
try to counterbalance that. And technology is typically my enemy, but I'm trying to find the
Mm,
way to patch all the gear together to where I can record and start making longer versions of things.
mm,
I think we're kind of getting there a little bit with the Wicked Stories that I mentioned,
mm,
because some of them are spoken word, some of them are more poetic. But no,
mm.
I'd absolutely love to do like some more projects because I do like the raw, visceral style. That's like, for instance, when you're doing Gasoline and Vertebrae, I
Mm,
love it because you tap into an entire different side
mm,
of the vocals and distortion and raw energy.
mm.
Uh, and I like that. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to just tie that in to where that becomes a musical element or premise. And I don't know, maybe even a Grim Life Bandcamp
There
project
you
might be.
go. Oh, that would make me happy.
If I could do it justice and make sure I deliver
Mm.
a good product, I'd be more than willing to do so.
Very cool. I mean, it's interesting to me that you're such a natural at the long form. Like it's a little bit my kryptonite. Like I can get there now with Couch just because I've been doing it a while. But like I'm just such a like 16th note coffee guzzling like go 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 we're done maniac that no I I envy your foresight like just to not uh, get bored and see the light at the end of the tunnel of an episode or a show or a song and stick to it. That's pretty inspiring. Daniel says, "Do it." Yeah, I mean, character material alone, you can have you could release like a just like a character themed CD, and you have 16 tracks without even thinking about it. But that's just me
Like,
spitballing off the top of my head. Not too much off the top of my head because we have low ceilings here out in space. Like, you don't have to be aerodynamic because it's a vacuum, but like, it's we gotta save money where we can, and like yeah, I know I said no, do the Bandcamp thing, says Daniel. I know, I screw around. I screw around. Um, yes, the um, well, you're in the we're in the same time zone now, which is interesting. You don't have to lose an hour to come to Chicago because I'm out in Boston. Um, I find your new occupation very intriguing because I just got giant fish tattoos, and you sell fish. The What is pie in the sky? And we'll go out on this. Like, do you if you had you'll make. Sorry, I know that was a lot of false starts of a sentence. We can When you get like the germ of an idea of a character, right? Like you just kind of like you're going to sleep or you're just you're driving somewhere and you start thinking maybe this is going to be a new idea. Um, do you have to look for a mask to match that, or does the mask influence what the character might be? It's a little bit of a chicken and the egg thing.
really, no, and it's funny you said that because I'll literally wake up and jot stuff down like
Mm-hmm.
madman, scribble, ransom
Mm-hmm.
note, scribble, and be like, I'm gonna piece this together later,
Right.
or pull the car over and literally record. But
Oh, no kidding.
oh yeah, yeah,
Just
no
like into your
doubt.
phone, like just so you don't lose the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not one of those people that are like, I'll just go to sleep and I'll remember it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I will never remember it. I will hate myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
times.
So, but to answer your question, I would get the kind of musings of an idea
Mm-hmm.
and who that character is going to play in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not even a name thing, it's just what purpose do they serve?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, there's a freak in the underworld that completely gives them the creepy crawlies and is so wretched and evil that even reapers themselves stay
Mm-hmm.
the hell away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned into, okay, well, what is he into? Okay, well, he dabbles in necromancy
Mm-hmm.
and the dark arts, etc. Then it starts pulling together to where I got to come up with a name for this guy. So I need somebody who's cursed and wretched and evil. And then I stumbled in the search for that and researching that there's a term or a name out there that is named Bete Noir,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a pseudonym for cursed, devil,
Mm-hmm.
evil, all of those things combined. So that sometimes becomes the name, and
Mm-hmm.
then other times I think of instead of just going down the route that everybody knows, like I'm just going to put Krampus in an episode and assume everyone
Right.
knows who he is. I wanted to dig a little deeper and be like, what precedes Krampus?
Okay.
What is going to be the precursor to his arrival?
Mm-hmm.
And a character hopefully coming soon is this ice poltergeist that
Mm.
descends upon towns and flash freezes everything
Mm-hmm.
preceding Krampus's arrival.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, you can't have Krampus showing up at the beach. That's just not gonna work.
Yeah,
Uh,
right?
that's awesome. I dig it. I dig it. So you gotta the things happen for a reason, even on your insane uh, uh, death comedy show. It's
Oh yeah, and then we've been starting to tap into and starting to reach out to where it's not just Grecian lore. It's like
mm,
every other character has like a raw, visceral, like kind of common name,
mm-hmm.
and but then every other name has like a mythic type name. So for instance, you got Hack and Slash, but there's also Jack and Gary, or there's Yig Tara or Lycoan.
Mm-hmm.
But like every other character, like Slice and Dice are two characters.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ice Spirit is actually Vitur, if I'm not butchering that, and it's the Icelandic term for winter.
Oh, nice. Dig it.
So yeah, so I try to make it as more well versed as I can instead of being like, oh, he's just Krampus's minion or
Right.
he's
He's
just nameless.
Lord
He's
Viper
he's got
Scorpion. Yeah.
yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. So we are on a rogue flight path out here in space, and I'm gonna bring this couch back on into the station shortly. Uh, let's toss out some URLs one more time. It is the Grimtacular on SoundCloud.
Yep.
Uh, possibly hack the Reaper.
Hmm.
We'll figure it out. You're very smart. You're very smart people. I'm sure you can find uh, the Grimtacular for all your haunted house needs and general Yog-Sothory. We then go to YouTube, Facebook, uh, Twitch. Yes, no.
Still ramping up on
Still
that.
ramping up on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Grim Reaper for hire, and why don't you hire them? Like essential worker, right? I mean, we'd have so many problems otherwise, but they're
Hey,
they're.
if you're still alive, we can help.
That's the shirt right there. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is Brian for Space Couch, for Aaron, for the Grim Life of Hack and Slash. I hadn't seen you in a minute, so this is great for me. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll
Thank
be sure to watch your show. So we'll do Space Couch. Call the spaceships to Davenport. Prepare for it. Anarchy. Interface with a couch in space.
you. Yeah. Oh yeah.